Hello everybody. First of all, apologies for not actually doing videos for like 10 years. I've been very busy. I've had a lot of things on, a lot of things that I've basically been busy doing. I wanted to do something today, and I've mentioned it in the past, a bit more folkloric than usual, but I wanted to talk today about a place in Essex called Canewdon. And the name itself actually means Hill of the Canners people, which is ancient Saxon. Now Canewdon, if I'm not mistaken, is near Rochford. It's a village near Rochford, and it has a huge association attached to it to do with witches and to do with the occult and to do with hauntings. It's said that the actual church, St Nicolas Church, that was created in the 14th century under the patron saint of St Nicholas, is ridiculously haunted, and some people actually say that it is the centre for witchcraft in Essex. The village was actually called Village of Witches at one point. Matthew Hopkins didn't actually tread there. Whether or not that was because people weren't actually that rich there, because he used to make a quick pound by other villages, we don't know. But the actual church is what I really want to speak about today, Canewdon Church. Now, Canewdon Church is said that in Canewdon there will always be 6 witches, which is free of cotton and free of silk. So there are 6 witches within Canewdon, free of cotton, free of silk. So basically this has meaning to the class. So free working class, free lower class, free upper class. In terms of the lore of witches, it's said that as long as the steeple will remain there, as part of the church, there will always remain the 6 witches, and that every time a stone falls from the church, it means that a witch has died and that one will surely take their place. I have my paper here. So there are various things that are associated with the actual place. If you run around anti-clockwise, the devil will appear. On Halloween, and I actually have a couple of friends out in Essex. One of my neighbours, actually, she comes from Essex, so we kind of got that Essex thing going on. But she said that, and I kind of wanted to get her in for this video, but she's out in Marbella, which is so stereotypically like the only way is Essex. But she said that Halloween they would always go to Canewdon to St Nicholas Church. In fact, it was said that on Halloween, if you run around anti-clockwise, and I believe it's 9 times, you will go back in time. And it's actually created that much, a mass amount of people that the police regularly patrol there on Halloween to stop visitors going there, because they have such a huge influx of people that try this. It's also said that if you run around anti-clockwise as well and around a particular tomb, you will also see, bear with me because I've got this written down, you also see the spirit, it's a woman, oh god, I'm so sorry about this, you also see a faceless woman who wears a bonnet but actually has no face. So it's said that on a moonless night, you will see the woman walking around, and Westgate car park near St Nicholas Church is said to be incredibly haunted. There is also a tale of a headless ghost as well that will pick you up and throw you into a ditch. So there's loads of different ghost stories around there. Now, in terms of Canewdon, in 1580, the first witch trials began, and these actually happened over like a 10-year span. And the first woman was Rose Pye, and she was accused of bewitching a toddler from a local farm who actually died, called Johanna Snow. And she actually died in jail because she couldn't afford the fees in jail. A lot of the times when people were put away in jail and were put in prison, it was the actual fees that killed them. It was the actual being in prison prison because of the horrific unsanitary conditions, and quite frankly the disgusting and revolting conditions that people were put in, actually killed them off, because they obviously accumulated a bill for being in jail that they had to pay back then, so that tends to unfortunately kill people. So most people did as well. So there was also a woman called Cicely Mackian in 1585, and she was charged with practicing witchcraft. And then 5 years later she was actually charged again with practicing witchcraft, and this woman was actually excommunicated from the church, which means she wasn't she wasn't hung or anything like that. She was actually excommunicated from the church. Now to this day it wouldn't be such a bad thing, but to be excommunicated from a church would mean that you would actually you were going to hell. Your soul was fucked. You was going direct, do not stop, do not pass go, straight down to hell, to the burning furnace of all eternity, because the church had disowned you, basically. So, there was also a famous Essex Cunning Man, but this is another video, and he was known as James Cunning Mural, and he was actually from Hadley in Essex, and he was most famed for his witch bottles that he actually used as part of his work. But he was a cunning man that a lot of people went to, but he said that Canewdon would always have witches in it. It would always be a village where witches were. It would always have witches in it. So, what other witches were actually in Canewdon? There was a very, very popular chap called George Pickingale, who was born in 1816 and died in 1909. And he actually moved to Canewdon with his wife, and he had 4 kids, 4 children as well. So he was a he was a farm labourer, he was a farm worker, but he was also a cunning man, and he didn't actually charge for his services mostly. However, a lot of people did give him donations, did give him money, and it was said that he used to have a blackthorn stick that he used to carry around, his blasting rod, and it was said that a touch of his stick could curse people, but also a touch of his stick could cure people. There was a lot of hysteria around him, involving 9 covens that he had formed around Essex, Norfolk, Hampshire, Hertfordshire and Sussex, that were all mainly predominantly women. And if I'm not mistaken, he had a mix of Arabic mysticism, French witchcraft, paganism, and some also Christian mysteries as well. That's what he was said to have practiced. I don't know. He claimed that he was one of the most oldest men in England, and quite frequently lied about his age as well. But he was born in 1816 and died 1909. But he would tell people that he was like 200 plus on some occasions. He also was said to have white mice familiars. In fact, someone had claimed that they had walked through his door and had seen the white mice familiars suckling on his nipples. He was said to a farm worker, he said his familiars could get everything. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Sorry, crashed. It was said that his familiars could get everything done like that, like the speed, a ridiculous speed. And so it was said that he would sit there all day while his white mice familiars would be working for him, working out in the field. There was a lot of sensationalism around this man. He also cured people. There was a case where he actually cured a woman and passed rheumatism that she had onto his father. He'd done a lot of different things. He had threatened to curse people as well as been known to cure. So yeah, there's a little bit of history around the Essex village of Canewdon, particularly around St Nicolas Church, but it was always said to be a spot for witchcraft in Essex. The reason I've done this video is because I want to show people that there are places, there are places in Britain other than Cornwall that has magic associated to it, and Essex really does have a thriving history attached to it in terms of witchcraft and folklore. The amount of places in Essex that are said to be haunted it's ridiculous. There's so much history and folklore attached there. It's it's not just fake tan and Towie. You know, it's not just people going shut up all the time, which, by the way, no one like ever spoke like that in Essex until that TV show came out. Coincidence? I think not. But yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I have missed out here. No, I don't think there is. But yeah, Canewdon was said to be a very, very a heavy spot for the practices of witchcraft. Also, with George Pickingale as well, it's also said that he could summon witches with his wooden whistle that he had in a gathering spot that was near St Nicolas Church. So yeah, it was said that he could summon all his witches at will with his wooden whistle. So yeah, over and out, and peace.